Hello buddy, Sanir, engineer, MBA, and investor. And in today's video, I want to talk about this tweet from Biotech2K1, infamous user. Biotech2K1 actually has a website going on for themselves. It's actually a website that he or she designed by themselves. And it actually talks about a bunch of things with CRISPR. So if you guys don't know this website, if you go to his profile here, or her profile rather, and search for this site. So biotech2k.com, right? So if you click on that, you'll actually see the website. It's actually pretty cool. It's all built by Biotech2K1. I wish they would use Bootstrap, but it's pretty cool actually. All developed by someone who never ventured in software development, and here it is, someone now not only having knowledge of biotech and everything that he or she has knowledge on, but also on software development, which is actually pretty cool. Yeah, you see, sometimes it's good to go out of your comfort zone and venture out in things that you may not see any relevancy, but it keeps your brain juicing. And honestly, software development is really fun if you really get into it. Yeah, and it's a high-paying job for people who don't like their current jobs or just want side jobs. It's a pretty good gig. But nonetheless, that's not what I want to talk about in today's video. It was actually about this tweet. As Beam works its way through actual FDA regulatory framework for sickle cell disease, I think people forget that CRISPR Therapeutics got clinical hold on their program the first time they filed in the US. US regulatory pathways for new therapies are slow and deliberate. You can get away with a lot going outside the US to do clinical development. I think people don't realize that 55% of all sales come from the US when it comes to drugs. The US gets premium pricing. I've always said it. If you want to be successful, in my opinion, as a CRISPR company, you gotta break through the US. I know Verve 101 is doing their clinical programs in New Zealand, in the UK. They're getting designation programs in different regions. From different programs are getting different designation programs, or getting designation and priority from different companies. But you really have to get that in the US, in my opinion. FDA is really where, again, as an investor in the stock market, we want to see companies, obviously reward their stakeholders, their shareholders. And the way you do that is getting through the US FDA. And a tweet here stating that CRISPR Therapeutics actually had a clinical hold on their program the first time they filed in the US. I didn't even know this. And look, I'm someone who's been making these videos for almost 2 years now. I actually think it's been officially 1 year. I think maybe in a week it's going to be 1 year, but 2 years, sorry, that I started making these videos. So think about it. After 2 years of making these videos on an almost daily basis, definitely on a weekly basis, I have not known this. I did not know this. This is the first time I see this. So that's why I wanted to make a video, because likelihood that some of you don't know this is very high. And again, why should we know this? Well, look at the success of CRISPR Therapeutics CTX001, and we strongly believe this year that within the next few weeks they're going to get FDA approved. Yet they had a clinical hold put on them initially, so that's what this tweet is saying. And that's why program like Beam 201, which got its clinical hold there when they submitted for IND back in July, August, should not be taken in a bearish way where it's a doomed program, right? Because CRISPR Therapeutics CTX001 was also put on clinical hold. And I think that reminds our viewers that, just because you have a couple failures early on does not mean that's your future fate for the program itself. I mean, you just gotta remember, the FDA has, its own stakeholders to worry about. And, the stakeholders are the citizens, right? They serve the citizens, and they have to make sure that any sort of genome editing program gets analyzed very, very deeply, right? It's not any program that they're going to allow. Just because you're doing CRISPR does not mean you're doing the exact same thing as other CRISPR companies. There's CRISPR-Cas9, CRISPR-Cas12, in vivo, ex vivo. I mean, there's so many multiplex editing. There's so many things in the CRISPR world, right? And you got to think about it. The FDA doesn't just have the CRISPR to handle. There's so many other things. You think about, Bluebird, you think about, the big pharma companies, Moderna, you think about, Vertex, you think about Regeneron, you think about Pfizer, all these programs, from all these companies, and they have teams trying to deal with these programs. So can you really blame them for doing their due diligence? So in a sense, I respect the FDA for doing their due diligence. But at the same time, I've already criticized, my opinion, I think they take way too long. I think there are lots of delays. that are unnecessary. I mean, a clinical hold taking 30 days to give a response of why you put that program in clinical hold is extremely unacceptable, in my opinion. Should take you 30 hours max to formulate a few sentence, send that out to a press release or an email to the leadership, right? But of the company. But that's my criticize. But at the other side of thing, the other side of the token is, like I said, you gotta get through the FDA, right? So no matter what happens, 55% of all sales come from the FDA when it comes to drugs, and I agree with that. I think that's a fair statement. I would argue it's even more than that. I would argue that other regions like Health Canada relies on what the FDA does. Just look at what happened with the pandemic, and the FDA did certain things around the world. Things just started mimicking what the FDA does. I mean, they all have their own regulatory bodies, don't get me wrong, but let's be honest, the FDA has a significant influence around the world, right? And so winning with the FDA, in my opinion, means you're going to win in this CRISPR race, right? So food for thought, guys. Just wanted to make this video here on a Wednesday. Didn't make a video in the last 2-3 days and just been really busy, guys. So hopefully you guys appreciate this. Again, thank you so much, Biotech2K1, for the tweet and for the website. Congratulations on the website. As always, subscribe if you're not. Like this video if you found value, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.